Thanks, Ella. When it comes to CSU football, I think it's easy to focus on wins and losses, but there's a lot more to this program than that. Griffin Vander Waerdt has overcome some huge obstacles, but that hasn't stopped him from contributing to the team this season. His story is a great example of what it means to be a Ram. Check it out.
Griffin Vander Waerdt may not be a household name for all CSU Ram fans, but maybe he should be. The preferred walk-on may have never played in a game at Canvas Stadium, but he has impacted the program more than some who have stepped on the turf.
After my senior season, I really wasn't recruited that much. I did pick up a D2 offer to CSU Pueblo, decided to turn that down and waited until I got a preferred walk-on spot here to CSU.
Unfortunately, Griffin's body had other plans.
When I was in high school, I kind of just shoved it to the side and did what I needed to do to get by, really. But once I got to college, it got too bad to a point where I was unhappy, and I was like losing weight. I was super unhealthy.
After his freshman semester, he was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, an inflammatory bowel disease. He started treatments, and things were starting to look up for a while.
Things got really good, and I started to put on a bunch of muscle mass and started to become better at the sport, and got a lot more comfortable on the field. I got back from Toledo, and out of nowhere I started bleeding from an ulcer in my small intestine that happened to be on top of an artery. It was a very aggressive bleed and a very fast bleed, which isn't very normal for a 19-year-old kid. And that caused me to go in a hemorrhagic shock a few times and code blued a couple times. And I had a whole bunch of surgeries. Had 25 blood transfusions, 2 bowel resections. I was on a PICC line.
Griffin spent the spring season sitting on the sidelines. He came back to the team 2 weeks after his bowel resection and blood transfusions.
I was driving down to Denver to go get iron infusions all the time, or I had all these doctor's appointments down in Denver, and I had to handle that while handling school and being at every single practice in the mornings. But I couldn't do anything at practice. I would just literally sit there and watch everybody. I left him at 195 pounds, and I come back up to visit at 155 pounds, and I think it was kind of shocking to them to see that I visibly lost a lot of weight.
Shortly after the spring season, Griffin was forced to medically retire and step away from the field forever. Norvell and his staff weren't just going to let Griffin go that easily. They invited him to come back to the team as an intern for the strength and conditioning department.
I didn't really expect to not be playing, and it came on a lot earlier than I expected. And so Coach Norvell said that he wanted to keep me around the team, and it was like a hard pill to swallow that I wouldn't be playing anymore, but I kind of just took it and ran with it.
Griffin is an incredible intern. He's definitely an intern that you would want no matter what it is you're doing, but especially as a strength and conditioning coach. He's very, very proactive. He takes initiative. He's very hardworking. He has a great attention to detail.
I set up the weight room. I take down the weight room. I distribute GPS devices. I take people's body weights, make sure people are drinking their shakes. Everybody has to finish their shake regardless, so they have to show me the bottom of their shake, and then they can throw it away and walk out and go do what they need to do. A lot of them will leave just a little bit at the bottom, and I have to tell them to finish it. And I've even had to go to people's dorms to wake them up for practice.
He knows exactly what it's like to be in their shoes, which makes him a unique motivator because the team knows that he can relate to them.
He's very passionate about football, and he's relatable. A lot of the guys can trust him. They ask him questions, he can relate to them. There's a really cool dynamic there where they feel safe and they have confidence in him and his knowledge of things too. And he's a familiar face. He's always around. He doesn't have to be here all the time, but he chooses to be here in his free time, and that means a lot.
I would say because I was a D1 athlete that I have very high expectations for them, and I know when they're not working as hard as they can be and not pushing themselves. And so I can tell them that they need to go harder, and they'll listen because I understand that they're not.
Griffin has turned an awful situation into a positive force. His persistence and strength are a reminder that even in hard times, what you make out of it is truly what matters.
When I watch the games, I literally just want to go out and play, and I have a hard time watching other people do what I love to do. Now I'm taking steps in a different direction, in a path that I will be very successful in, while still doing something that I love.
It was such an honor to share Griffin's story, and I'm really excited to see what his future holds. In fact, he just landed an internship this summer with the University of Kansas Football's Strength and Conditioning Department. And he heads to the Mayo Clinic in a couple weeks to see if they can help him out with his Crohn's disease. Guys, back to you.